Hi, I'm Rick at Rick Turns, and today's video is...
For today's project, I'll be turning a bowl out of spalted maple.
I've got a log here. This is from a tree that was felled in my friend's yard, and this is, I think, spalted maple. And what I want to do first of all is cut this down to round on the bandsaw. So I need a circle here, and I could use a compass or something, but that can always be a nuisance. As you can see, we got obviously smaller diameter down here, so I'm not going to go as large as I possibly can, but the 11-inch size looks pretty darn good. And I'm going to mark a center, and I'm going to mark the circle. Now I'll be initially mounting this on a screw center that's affixed to a scroll chuck. So I'm going to drill right here for the screw center, and that takes a 3/8" drill bit. This is a one-way stronghold lathe that I'm going to be using, and I'm pretty sure this is the screw, or the woodworm screw that came with it. I'm just going to clamp down on that. Here's my blank. Here's the hole. Screw right into it here. Screwed in as much as I can by hand. Now I'm going to lock the spindle here and finish screwing it on with the spindle locked, because I can't get any farther with my hand. Okay. There we have it. This blank is probably going to be out of balance. I'm going to start off really slow here at about 250. This lathe will go slower than that, but that's plenty slow enough. Okay, it's not out of balance yet. And let me crank it up to 500 here. And we're still in balance, so we're doing pretty good. So bring it up a little bit faster. 800, it's getting a little bit of vibration, so I'm gonna drop it down back to around 700. Yeah, that's good right there. And I'm gonna start with this. This is a 5/8" Thompson bowl gouge. Aha! The accelerated braking system has not been turned on, which I'm going to remedy right now. One of the features of the Galaxy lathe that I really like is the assisted braking feature, so that when you hit the off button, the motor sort of applies a brake electronically to slow it down rather than just letting it spin all the way down. And to me, that's real convenience. So I'm going to go into the menu here. I had it set off for some reason, and I can't even remember why. Go into lathe settings here. There's the assisted brake setting, and I'm just going to say yes. Ensure set screws are tightly secured, and that's because the assisted brake, when it engages, the chuck or whatever could unspool or unscrew at that point. So chucks with a set screw in them to additionally secure them, that needs to be tightened down. So I'm just going to say yes there. Assisted brake is on. Let's back out here. Just very briefly, I'll show you what it looks like. And that was the assisted braking. Now you can see the blank is definitely out of balance. And it probably will continue to be so until I actually get it all down to round. But before I proceed any further, I'm going to go ahead and take all this down to flat. Okay, that is good. Now I'm ready to round over and get rid of these spots here. Still 700 RPM. And let's take a look at that. I think you can probably see, maybe it doesn't show, but this wood is pretty soft. This was sitting outside in my friend's yard for quite a few months. It's spalted now and it's, it's on the verge of being rotten. But it's still workable at this point, so it'll make a good bowl. Very dramatic bowl with all that spalting. All right, gonna make it curve way over like that. Okay, so I'm gonna have to curve this side in. So it's almost gonna be more of a hollow form than just a plain bowl. And I like that shape. I'm going to stick with that. Okay, now it may or may not show on the video, but I definitely got some grain tearing here. The wood is pretty soft, and this is cross grain right here. I got some grain tearing to remove, plus a lot of tool marks to remove. And what I'm going to do is shear scrape this. Take a look at that. See how, that's not too bad. Still a little bit of tearing in there. So I'm going to bring that down some more. And grain, looking pretty good. I'm still getting rid of the tear out that I produced with the gouge, I think. It's a little bit right there. So I'm going to keep going. I'm going to be using this. This is a Record SC4 chuck. Very sturdy, very heavy chuck. I think it's maybe one of the best chucks I've ever bought. I've got 75mm jaws on it, about 3 inches. And got these calipers set right here to about the diameter that I want to cut the recess for. That's just about it. Alright, that's good. Going to be using this little scraper right here. Alright. Alright, as you can see, I have mounted this in the chuck now. I'm ready to start hollowing it out. Now, true up the surface here first. Should have already done that. Just makes it a little easier. Possibly with this wood being so soft, I might go faster with a scraper. Okay, I'm going to leave a big lip here and hollow underneath it. Still got a ways to go there. Let's see if I can. Okay, I'm at 1/4, 1/2, 3/4. A little over an inch thick there, and so it's not really too wet. I'm going to go ahead and turn it to final diameter, final thickness. Now, as you can see, I've got my depth gauge mounted here. This was made for me by a friend, and it was based on what Sam Angelo showed on his Wyoming Woodturner channel, which in turn was based on someone else that he had seen. And I can't remember the original name that he gave. But if you see right down here, this is adjusted to the bottom of the bowl. If I cut until this goes all the way up against here, I'll cut through the bottom. So that's how I tell the depth now. I've got at least an inch there, probably an inch and 1/4. And I am going to keep deepening it until I get a good bit closer on the depth gauge. Alright, you can see I'm down to about 1/2 inch there. I'm even going to measure it. Alright, so I'm going to go just a little bit deeper. That is it. Looks like about 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit less. I do not want to go any deeper than that. Alright, now it's a matter of hollowing this out to the depth and keeping that curve right there. Still a ways to go. I'm going to check it just in case. Alright, the interior is done. Not going to do anything else to that except sand it, Now I just want to round this over a little bit, or maybe I could leave a little cove there. Yeah, I think I might do that. All right, that's good. All right, I think that is it for the turning right here. Now I'm going to sand it. I'm not going to bother to film the sanding. It's it's boring. Boring watching it. It's even more boring doing it. But I'm going to sand this all the way, and then I'm going to reverse it. And I've got to finish up the bottom. Either get rid of the recess that the chuck is going into, or make that the foot, or something along those lines. All right, back in a while. Well, to finish off the bottom of this bowl, I'm going to reverse chuck it by pushing it up against this surface right here and holding it in place with a tailstock. This is nothing but a large piece of 3/4 inch plywood with a faceplate screwed onto it. And I'm going to mount this right here onto the lathe. And get it in there good and tight. Just like this, clamp it on there. Alrighty. And that is going to hold it in place very nicely. And I am ready to turn here. I'm just going to turn a steep lip down there. This will continue to be the bottom. And I'm at about 700 there. And now I'm just going to start taking some of this off. Getting that nub taken away is rather difficult since there's not much room to work there. All right, let's just take a look and see how this looks. It looks good. It's a little bit of tearing. Uh-oh. Got a tool mark right there, bad one. Okay, I'm going to have to turn this down some more. See if I got rid of that mark. Yes, I really need to be more careful. All right, I'm going to switch over to sanding. Not going to bother to show that. I'm just going to sand this area here because the interior here is going to get sanded when I remove the stub here. So I'm going to do the sanding. We'll be back in a moment. All right, this is the little nub. It needs to be removed. Obviously, it doesn't really add much to the base, to the bowl, so I'm going to take a chisel and carefully chisel it off. And there it goes. So you can see I've still got about an 1/8 of an inch here. I'm going to take that down just a little bit. And that is good enough for that. All right, I got my sander here, 150 grit pad disc on there. I'm just going to take that down. All right, that feels good. All right, that's it with the disc sander and 150 grit. Now I'm going to hand sand it using 220, 320, 400, 600, 800, and 1000.
Before I put any finish on the bowl, I put my wood turning stamp on the base, just my initials, and Rick Morris wood turning around it. Now the finish that I use is a wiping varnish, which is just a plain old polyurethane varnish that I have diluted 1-to-1 with odorless mineral spirits. It makes a fairly thin solution there, a little more than the consistency of water. And then I just wipe it on, just like you see here. I don't put any on the stamp on the first coat. I want that ink to dry quite a bit before I put any over it. But then I just wipe the varnish all over. That very first coat soaks in very quickly. And I'm going to put on at least 4 coats. I found 4 coats is about the minimum for using this thin a varnish. And between each coat, I let it dry for 6 hours, and then I sand it with 1,000 grit paper between each coat.
This bowl is made from a piece of spalted maple which was given to me by the son of a wood turning friend. And the bowl is going to go back to that son.